Helen Keller. Breaking barriers of disability. Helen Keller's story is one of courage, perseverance, and the triumph of a human spirit. Born in a small town in Alabama in 1880, Helen was a healthy and active child until a mysterious illness struck her at just 19 months old, leaving her both deaf and blind. Despite the challenges that could have confined her to a life of isolation, Helen defied all odds and became a symbol of hope and possibility for millions of people with disabilities around the world. Hashtag the early years. A silent darkness. Helen Adams Keller was born on June 27th, 1880, in Tuscumbia, Alabama, to Captain Arthur H. Keller and Kate Adams Keller. Her early months were filled with joy, laughter, and the normal developmental milestones of a healthy child. But in February 1882, Helen contracted an illness, possibly scarlet fever or meningitis, which doctors at the time described as acute congestion of the stomach and the brain. Though she survived, the illness left her without sight and hearing. Deprived of these senses, Helen's world became a silent darkness. Her inability to communicate led to frustration and frequent outbursts of anger. She developed rudimentary signs to express basic needs, but was largely cut off from meaningful interaction. For her family, watching Helen struggle was heart-wrenching, yet they were determined to find a way to unlock her potential. Hashtag the arrival of Anne Sullivan. A transformative bond in 1887, when Helen was nearly 7 years old. Her life changed forever with the arrival of Anne Sullivan, a 20-year-old teacher from the Perkins School for the Blind in Boston. Anne, herself visually impaired, had faced her own share of hardships, which gave her a unique empathy for Helen's situation. Anne's approach was both innovative and patient. She began teaching Helen by spelling words into her hand using the manual alphabet of American Sign Language, ASL. The breakthrough came when Anne spelled WATR into Helen's hand while pumping water over it. In a moment of extraordinary realization, Helen connected the tactile sensation of water with the letters being spelled into her palm. This epiphany marked the beginning of Helen's journey into language and understanding. Hashtag education. A quest for knowledge with Anne's guidance, Helen's hunger for knowledge grew insatiable. She quickly learned to read Braille, write, and communicate using finger. Spelling. She also learned to speak, though this was a particularly challenging skill for someone who could not hear her own voice. Helen's academic achievements were groundbreaking. In 1900, she enrolled at Radcliffe College, becoming the first deafblind person to attend an institution of higher learning. With and by her side, interpreting lectures and reading texts, Helen graduated cum laude in 1904 with a Bachelor of Arts degree. Her success was a testament to her determination and Anne's unwavering support. Hashtag advocacy and activism. A voice for the voiceless. Helen Keller did not stop at personal achievements. She dedicated her life to advocating for others. She became a prolific writer, public speaker, and activist, focusing on issues such as disability rights, women's suffrage, and workers' rights. Her efforts were instrumental in changing public perceptions of people with disabilities, proving that they could lead full, productive lives. One of Helen's greatest contributions was her work with the American Foundation for the Blind, AFB, which she joined in 1924. She traveled extensively, raising funds and awareness for the needs of the visually impaired. Her efforts led to significant improvements in Braille literacy, vocational training, and employment opportunities for blind individuals. Hashtag Helen's literary legacy. Helen Keller was also a talented writer, using her words to inspire and educate. Her autobiography, The Story of My Life, published in 1903, remains one of the most compelling accounts of overcoming adversity. In this memoir, Helen vividly describes her transformation from a frustrated, isolated child to a confident and accomplished woman. In addition to her autobiography, Helen wrote numerous essays, articles, and books, including Optimism, 1903, The World I Live In, 1908, and Midstream, My Later Life, 1929. Her writing not only shed light on the experiences of people with disabilities, but also explored broader themes of resilience, faith, and social justice. Hashtag friendships and influences. Helen's life was enriched by her relationships with influential figures of her time. She counted author Mark Twain among her close friends, who admired her wit and tenacity. Twain once famously called her the greatest woman of her age. Helen was also mentored by Alexander Graham Bell, who played a key role in introducing her family to the Perkins School for the Blind.